Hello everyone, we are back again with a new video on SQL tutorial by Aggregate Groups. So in this video, basically we are going to check SQL Server aggregate functions, and this is the part 1 of the video, and the next part will come tomorrow. Okay, now let's go ahead. So these are the types of aggregate function that we have in SQL Server. So we have around 15 aggregate function in total, which are like average, count, mean, max, sum, binary checksum, AGG, count big, grouping ID, stdev var, and var p. So in this video, we are going to check like these 7 of the aggregate functions: average, count, mean, max, sum, checksum, and binary sum. And other 8 of the functions we are going to discuss in part 2 of the video. Okay, so without doing any late, move ahead for the first function. So first we have the average function. Now let's check what average function is doing. So the average function in SQL Server is an aggregate function that calculates the average mean value of a numerical column or expression. Okay, so it will calculate the average value of the numerical column or any expression. So it is widely used to summarize data, especially when you want to find the central tendency of numeric value within a data set. Central tendency of numeric value. Okay, now move ahead at SQL Server Management Studio and check the working of each of them one by one. Once we explain, and then we check the working of that particular aggregate function. Okay, so I have opened my SQL Server. Now connect to our local. Now for this particular tutorial, basically we need to create one table. So let's expand our Avicacho database, and in tables, so we are going to use the graphical interface to create the tables and all. So now we will create one table for student. Okay, so just the column should be student ID, student ID, and it will be our integer column, and make it as a primary key. So by using the graphical interface also you can create table, or by using the query also you can create the table. So by using the query, we have already explained in our previous video that we have the full tutorial for SQL Server, and here we will show you how graphically you can create the tables. Okay, so student ID is marked as primary key, and now here we go and mark it as identity column. So for that you need to scroll here and go in identity specification, then expand this identity specification, and is identity currently it's no, so we will make it as yes. Okay, and if you want a dedicated video to these means checking identity columns and all, and how to create tables and all, so let us know in comment section. We will create something for that also. So identity increment we have kept as 1, and identity seed also we have kept as 1. Now second column will be our student name, student name, and let's keep it as varchar 50 will be fine. Varchar 50 will be fine, and it will not allow null value. Okay, so from here you will check if it will allow null or not allow null. Okay, then we have student name, student ID, then we will take like marks. Okay, as we need to perform the aggregate functions, so we need a numerical column on which we will perform our aggregates. Mr marks. Okay, so this will be our integer column, and then we will take as subject as one column, subject as one column, and keep it as varchar 50 will be fine, and all will be means keep this one as null, as we will check. And one thing I will tell you at the beginning itself, that all the aggregate functions except count will neglect null value. Okay, but count will allow null value. We will check in the tutorial how it is going to work. Okay, so subjects, and then after that we should have this much will be, these column will be fine. Okay, now save the table, and table name the table like students table, students table. Okay, Now refresh the table part, expand this. So we have our students table here. Now graphically we will also insert the values, edit to top 200 rows. You will go here, and as student ID is identity column, so it will pick the value by itself. So student name we can mention like Ram, marks 50, subject maths. Then again Ram, marks 100 for science. Science. And then Swati, marks will be 85 for Hindi. And again Swati, marks will be 95 for maths. Okay, maths. And then one more student we can take like Ria. Ria, she has scored around 72 for maths. And Ria again with 99 at science. And this Hindi also we can convert it to science. We will keep only two subjects, science. And one more student we will take Anuj. So Anuj has scored around 73 for maths. And then Anuj again, and he has scored 65 for science. Okay, I think this much record is fine for our understanding of all the aggregate function. Science. Now save this. Now go and click top 1000 records from our student table. So see, all our records, 8 records are added. Now what average we will check first. So average will find out the average of all the marks. Okay. So currently if we have 8 records, so we can find out the average of all the records. Now select average of from student table, average of marks we can copy from here itself. Okay, now check it. So here we have 79, and as we have not provided the alias, so no column name is coming as. So we will provide one alias also as average marks. Okay, so now it is 79 is coming as the average marks. Okay, so basically the aggregate functions are used by group by clauses. So let's check if you want to check the average of marks by subjects. So then what you will do? Then we will use group by function, and for group by and all we will create some dedicated videos because those concepts are very important in SQL server, and in SQL perspective also, that concept for interview perspective as well as learning and all. So group by is a good concept that you can learn. Okay, then we need to the column on which you have provided the aggregate function. Like if you execute this query now, so what it will giving? So it is giving like column student dot subjects is invalid in the select list because it is not contained in either an aggregate function or the group by clause. So either one of the column should either the column should be in aggregated or it should be available in group by clause. Otherwise you will not get any record. Okay. So now we are putting the subjects to be grouped by. Okay. Now P group by students. Okay. Now we will again execute the query. Okay. So now here we are getting the results like for maths 72 is the average marks, and so for science it is 7 is the average marks. Okay. So this thing, I think this is clear for everyone. Average is clear. Now go to the next one, next aggregate function. So next we have count. So the count function in SQL Server is an aggregate function that returns the number of rows in a table or the number of non-null values in a column. Number of non-null values in a column. It is widely used in queries to count and summarize data. So it is used for counting the number of records in a table or a column, and it is used to count and summarize the data. So the syntax for count is also very simple. Like you can put count, and if you want a count of all the means rows, then all you can put, or all the row we will get. Or if you want any means distinct records, like if the table contains duplicate data, then if you put the all, then it will provide all the means with duplicate data. But if we want the unique records account, then we can put distinct also. Okay. So now go to our SQL Server Management Studio, and we will check the working of count also. Okay, so from here, either we can, if we do the count star, okay, just comment this particular average. Now we will check count here only, down to this. Now select count star, count star from students table. Okay, now when we execute this, then it will count the all the records. As we have not provided the alias, then it is not providing any name as total count. You can provide the alias name also as total count, total underscore count. Okay, now when we execute, so total count 8 records are coming, and here we have 8 records in student table. Okay, total 8 records are there. Now similarly, as we have done group by for average, now if we count if you want the count of student name, as you can see there are duplicate student name. So if you want the distinct students, how many distinct students are there, then we can put like here instead of count star. So I'm also commenting this so that I can provide these codes to you. If you want, then you can also comment if you require the codes and all also, and the documents also. If you required, let us know. We will try to provide it to you using GitHub or something. And yes, so if you want the now we will check for the distinct student count. Select count distinct student names, dnt student name from as distinct students, as distinct underscore dnts students. Okay, now execute this query. Now what we are receiving, so okay, 4 we are getting as expected. Okay, so I guess count is clear for everyone. Okay, now we will move for our next aggregate function, which is after count we have min. Okay, so now what min is doing? So the min function in SQL Server is an aggregate function that returns the smallest value. Okay, that returns the smallest value from a specified column or expression. That will return a smallest value from a specified column or expression. It is commonly used to find the minimum value within a data set. Minimum value within a data set. Okay, so the syntax for minimum is also very simple. Minimum and the expression or the column name which you want to find out the minimum value for. Okay, so now move to SQL Server. We will check. So let's check for minimum marks in the table. So we can write the query like select, sorry, select mean marks, marks from and the students. Okay, minimum marks from a student table. Now when we execute this, okay, so 50 is the minimum marks. Now put the alias as mean marks, mean mark. Okay, So when we execute this, 50 is coming as the minimum marks. And here if we check the table, what we have? So we have 50 as the minimum marks. Okay. Now if we want to check which student has been means taken the minimum marks, then what we will do? We will group it by student name, and then we will find out the minimum marks by which student. Okay, so copy this and now select student name, select the student name column, comma, minimum marks, and group it by student name. Okay, group by student name, control V, student name. Okay, now execute this query. So what we are getting? Group by means when we group by student, then here we are getting, sorry, my mistake. So here we are getting like which student has get minimum marks. Okay, so if you want the student which who has get the minimum marks, then we need to find out like group by student name, and then we can use the top one. This is an interview question also. Okay, so be clear for this. So we can find out top one record, top one from student name, group by student names, and then order order by minimum marks column. Okay, order by minimum marks, or you can also mention like minimum marks, order by minimum marks. So here you will get the student who has scored the minimum mark, like Ram has scored minimum marks 50. And if you want to check the subject also, then you can write the subject name, like subject, subject we can also mention subject, subjects. Okay, and group it by subjects also. Okay, comma, subject, and the query remain the same. Select top one record we are searching for a student name and subject name grouped by student name and subject name having the minimum marks in which subject, which student has the minimum marks in which subject. Okay, and grouped by student name and subject, and then order the result, order the record by minimum marks. Okay, and by default it's ascending, so ascending we will get. Okay na. Okay, execute this query. So Ram has get minimum marks of 50 in maths. Okay, this is clear to everyone. Okay, now we can comment this particular, and count also, in count we have not used, I think, group by, so we can use here also group by, so that your concept will be clear. And on that group by also one by one. So count distinct student name, so what we can find here, like count of students. Mm, 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 mm. So as we have all the records similar, so we need to create a table for that. So we will discuss it in a separate video also, like how we can apply group by for count, and how we, or count we can check like subject count, count of subject by student, means what is as per student wise how much count we have. So count subjects, GCTS, subjects and student name, means each student have how many number of subjects as distinct subject, as subject count, subject, subject count, subject underscore count from student, and then group it by student name. Which column is not in aggregate function, then we need to group that column, put that column in group by clause. Okay, that is, I think, clear to everyone. Group by student name. Okay, so okay, so here you can see subject count 2 2, so each student have two subjects available. Okay, so Anuj has 2, Ram has 2, Riya has 2. Okay, So this is clear to everyone. Now let's move for the next function. Okay, so now what we have, mean is over, and then we have max. Okay, so what max is doing, so the max function in SQL server is an aggregate function that returns the that returns the largest maximum value from a specified column or expression. So this is also performing the same as minimum, but it is providing the largest value, means max. Okay, it is frequently used to identify the highest value in a data set, whether it's a numeric value, a datetime value, or even a string, for lexicographic comparison. Okay, lexicographic comparison, that I need to check on Google also what is that. So means for any numerical value or datetime value or even string value also, it is providing the maximum value. So date value, as we don't have, so as we don't have date time value currently, so we can add one date time value in our table also. So graphically, how you will do this? So now right click on student table, then go to design, and then we can add one new column like admission date. Okay, add admission date, and this should be date. Okay, or date we can keep for now. Okay, and it should not allow null. Okay, now save this. So we are getting student table error. We encountered during the save process some database object were not saved. Student table unable to modify table, cannot insert the value null into column admission date. Okay, so as currently this column should be newly added, so it will have all the values as null, because the column pre-contained data, so we need to keep it as allow null. Okay, otherwise we can't be able to add this. So by doing this we can find out errors also, and we will resolve in the same video, so that you will also be aware that means what kind of error can come. Now it has saved this, and now we will go to student table, select top 1000 rows. Okay, now admission date has been came, and it has all the null value. Now we will put the value on that. Now we will go to edit top 200 records. Okay, and then add the dates like today's date 2025 03 16, and then for Ram it will be repeated, and for Swati it's, we can take like February month. Okay, same here also, copy paste, and then for Ria we can take like January month. As we need to check only maximum concept, so we can mention the dates like this, so that we can check what is the maximum date of admission and all. Okay, and now for Anuj we can take like 2024 January 16 January 2024. Okay, now, okay, now this is clear. Now okay, we will check the max function. So first we will check the max marks of the student. Select max marks, marks of, marks from, sorry, here it is max, so we need to keep it max from students. Okay, now what we are getting, okay, so 100 is the maximum mark that a student have. Now here also we can put the alias as max underscore mark, max mark. Okay, now which student has got the maximum mark? So for this we can write it like select student name. First the top one record we want, top one student name, comma, maximum mark, and then top one, and then group by the student name. And here we can order by maximum marks descending, because we want the student who has scored the maximum mark. Okay, so now what we are getting, so sorry, it's ascending, so we'll put as DSC. So for ordering for descending, we need to means explicitly write like DESC, and ascending is by default. Okay, that is I think clear to everyone. Okay, so Ram has scored 100 marks, and in which subject? So subject also we can take here, top one, comma subject, and then order it, group it by subject also. So now when we execute near marks, order by maximum mark, comma is missing here. Okay, Control R. Now we will execute. So Ram has scored 100 marks in science. That is the maximum mark. Okay. Now as we have seen in the statement, like it is maximum is applied for date also. So this also we can check. What is the maximum date of admission? What is the maximum admission date? So 1 second. Okay. Then Control R. So we will check for the maximum admission date. So select max admission date, admission date from students table. Okay, now what we are getting, so see, this is the maximum, and similarly for minimum also we can do, minimum is also can be performed on dates also. So select mean admission date. So what we are getting here, so maximum is that now maximum is 16th March 2025, and minimum is 16th January 2024. And in our table, what is that? So 16th March 2025 is the maximum admission date, and minimum admission date is 16th January 2024, which is for Anuj. Okay, so I think max is means clear to everyone, and then we will proceed for the next function. So the next function is, we have, after max we have sum. Okay, so what sum is doing, the sum function in SQL server is an aggregate function that calculates the total sum of a numerical column or expression. It is typically used to summarize data such as the total revenue, total salary, or any numerical aggregation in a data set. Okay, so sum is basically doing sum of all the numerical columns, if you apply the sum on that particular column. So syntax for sum is also very simple, sum and that expression or the column name. Okay, so now go to our SQL Server Management Studio, and we will check the working of sum also. So here we can do the sum of marks, total marks, how much are there. So select sum of marks, select sum of marks from students. So marks. Okay, marks from students, from students students table. Okay, as total marks, marks, okay. So what result we are getting, like total marks are 639. Okay, so total marks is 639 here in this table, if you can check. So we have 50 plus 100 639. Okay, now we will do a grouping, means sum of marks student wise. Okay, so select sum of marks, then here we will take like student name, comma sum of marks as total marks, and group it by student name. Okay, group by student name. So it will provide us the total marks for all the subjects for each student. So what we are getting, Anuj has 138, Ram has 150, Ria 171, and Swati 180. And similarly, if we again do the grouping like grouping by subject, though then we get like GCTS subjects group by subject also, then we will get uh, 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 comma is missing here. Control R you can click for removing that result output query, output means tab. So select student name, subject, and sum of, then all records we are getting all the 8 records. So and group by student name, order by student name, so that we will get in a proper order. Order by student name, student name. Okay. Okay, so see, Anuj has this much, and Ram has this much, and Riya has this in math science, and Swati has like this. Okay, so I think sum is also clear to everyone. Okay, let's move for our next aggregate function. Now what we have next? So next we have checksum. Okay, so what the checksum is doing? So the checksum function in SQL Server computes a checksum value for a row of a table or a list of expression. Okay, checksum value for a row of table or a list of expression. It is often used to detect changes in data, similar to binary checksum, but it has slight differences in how it calculates the value. So checksum and binary checksum both are means little bit similar. They will check for the data change, and means syntax for checksum is checksum, and then either we will provide the star or expression. Means basically what it will do now, it will show us the difference if any difference happen in a column value or something, if two tables have similar data, and if any difference is there in any table, if we want to compare two results like two tables, if we want to compare each of the column of two tables, then we can use checksum. So it will provide the like computed value of each of the column, and if all the columns and values are similar, then it will provide the same for both of them, and if both are different, then we can easily find out like there is difference in both of them. So if in question, if someone you will ask in interview like how you can find out the difference between two tables if the columns are different, or how you can analyze if two tables have similar columns and similar data, then by using checksum or binary checksum is also used for the same purpose, but there is slight difference between the calculation process of both of them. Okay, so let's move on SQL Server, then it will be better understandable. I think by statement it is not understandable that much, but when we do it in practical, then it will be more understanding. Okay, so first of all, we will create a means table similar to that of a student. Then we will have a better idea on that. Okay, so if you will see, a student table have this much record. Now for creating a similar table to a student, we can do like insert. So this is how you can create a backup of a table. So we will create a separate video on these things also, but you can check from here also. Select star into. So this is altogether a separate section itself. Select star into. Now we will take a backup table. D and yes, name it as students underscore back BSCK back to from. So for which table this is backup? This is the backup of student table. Stu students. Okay. Now create this. When we execute this, see 8 records affected. And now our student backup table, if you do a select star on this student backup, select star from students backup, or then it has the same record that of students. So do this all together. Select star from students and student backup. Select star from students table. So both the table have same records and both are same. Okay, but now how we can verify this? So we can verify this by using the checksum function. Okay, now apply the checksum function. Select. Let's apply it in means you can apply either on all of the columns together or by each of the column. So let's first apply on student name and marks for both of the tables, and then we will proceed for other if needed. Okay, so we can mention like select from students, select student name, student name, comma, student marks, student marks, like marks only we have now, marks. And now we need to put a join, so consider it as a. And for join we have a dedicated video on join on our channel, so for better concept you can check that video also. That will be much helpful for you to understand the joins. And then b b b on, we can join on student id on a dot student id. Join we have not put here, 1 second, sorry. Join inner join we will do, and then a dot student id equals to b b dot b dot student id. Okay, now we need to put the like alias here also, a dot student name and a dot marks, so, and comma b dot student name, comma b dot marks. Okay, so we will keep closer b dot student name to a dot student name, and then here a dot marks equals to b dot mark. And now apply checksum on each of them. Okay, check underscore sum, checksum. 1 second. See checksum altogether, it will come checksum on this, then checksum on b dot student name, and then we have checksum on a dot marks, and then at last we have checksum on b dot marks. Okay, now when we execute this, so alias also we need to provide as student name, as student name underscore 2, we can consider this because in one select statement we can't have a duplicate column name. Okay, as marks, copy as marks 2, marks underscore 2. Now execute this. Now see, it is providing the computed value, so for student name and student 2, marks and marks 2 column. So if you can see, both are coming similar records. Okay, because both the tables have similar record. And now refresh this table part, then we have our students and student backup table both together. Now when I change one record here for let's take, in place of Anuj I can mention Ankit for student name in backup table, then what we are getting. Now when we execute this, now see, in student name we are getting the different value. So by using this checksum, you can be able to find out if there is any change happened on the table, or if means something has been updated, or also you can check like if two tables have similar data or similar set of columns and all. So like that you can check. And same is done by that. Now move to other one. First we will check the definition for that one, and then we will discuss that one. So binary checksum, our last aggregate function in this query, in this tutorial, is binary checksum. Okay, so what it will do, the binary checksum function in SQL Server is used to calculate a binary checksum value for a row of a table or a list of expression. This function is useful to detect changes in data. If any value in the row or specified expression is modified, then the checksum value changes. Okay, so this is also doing the same thing as that of checksum, but both have a different calculation means method. So the syntax for this is also like similar to that of checksum. Binary, if you want all of them, then a star, and if you want any particular expression or particular column, then expression or column we will mention. So now move to Microsoft SQL Server. There we will check the use of binary checksum. Okay, now copy this, and here only we will apply binary checksum. Okay, and now first change the value of that student backup table to Anuj, ANUJ. Okay, and be clear on this thing that both of the functions are case sensitive. So case sensitive means ABC is different from this caps ABC. Okay, both are different thing. But SQL Server language is not case sensitive. Means both are same for SQL Server language itself. But for these functions, they have case sensitive. The computed value come on the basis of case sensation. Okay, so be clear for that thing. So checksum, here we will add that binary underscore checksum, binary checksum, and apply this for all columns. Binary checksum, now binary checksum, now binary checksum, and put it enter here so that the queries will be clear to us. Okay, okay, I think this much is fine only. Okay, now when we execute this, so if you can see, both here this student name and student name 2 have same computed value. Marks, both marks have same computed value. Now for checking the difference between both of these, we will execute both checksum and binary checksum all together. Okay, then we will find out the calculation difference between both of them. Okay, now all together if you execute both of the queries, then what we are getting, so you can see the computed value for both of them. This is the result for checksum, and this is the result for binary checksum. Okay, okay, so that is it for today, and part 2 will be available shortly, so be ready for that also. And for checksum and binary checksum, we will create a separate video also for with a elaborated video that will have more details on those functions, because those functions are important for interview perspective, and other aggregate functions that are mostly in use, like we have average, sum, mean, max, and all. So these also you will practice more and more. And shortly we are going to upload some practice videos also, interview questions also. So be with us for a long, and many more videos are on the way, friends. So thank you everyone, and like, share, subscribe, and comment. If you need any help, then let us know in the comment part, and subscribe the channel SQL tutorial by Groups. Okay, thank you.